Well, one guy certainly is smiling today is Paul Morris. Didn't even get a chance to strut his stuff down in Wellington after kissing the concrete in practice. But today, well, it's a different outlook for Paul Morris too.
Yeah, that's one view that he didn't want to get. That's from the rear of his car. Nobody behind. That means he's tail end Charlie for the start.
So he's got to do all the hard work with the reverse grid shootout. And just in front of him, the number 3 Castrol Toyota Corona of Julian Bailey.
Yep, ex-Formula One driver. He had a bad weekend too. Not as bad as his rival over there, Paul Morris's. There's the view out the front. You can see that he's got all the work to do. He's got his teammate, Jeff Brabham, ahead, Craig Baird ahead of him. And so Julian Bailey there's just trying to settle into it. He's got a real good chance here in this race against Morris.
So just going through the rest of the field, and this is Jeff Brabham's Diet Coke BMW. You can tell the difference between the two helmets, as you can see. Different coloured helmets, and also the netting on the side. And this is Craig Baird, the New Zealand Touring Car Champion. Gives us a wave, Craig. Good on you, mate. And they're now off on the 2-litre, the Super Tourers. And the feature is, as they go around the warm-up lap, remember the slow cars start out in front. That's Grant Aitken and the Suzuki. But the cars have sprouted wings during the week.
Yeah, a bit controversial this was, but it definitely makes for a great contest between Morris in the BMW, which he's just got flown in, a new Schnitzer car, flown in from Germany to replace the written-off one from Wellington, and gives a great contest with Julian Bailey, because this car, the Toyota Corona, we're travelling in car with now, is competitive here. Believe me, they were within a hundredths of a second in qualifying. Julian is showing that with the wing on the back, this car has some stability, which it was lacking before.
And of course his teammate for this race will be the young driver from Palmerston North that's been given the big call-up this week.
Yeah, Michael Bate, what a great opportunity, the 20-year-old. This view from Michael's car, as he goes down the back straight, he'll be very, very nervous, I would think, because just 20 years old, Bruce Miles, the team owner, who has 3 of these ex-BTC Coronas in New Zealand now, hopes to run them in Australia during the year, has called on young Michael, who drives the production version of this in the New Zealand Touring Car Champs. So what a great opportunity.
So you're on board now with Julian Bailey as he gives you a great sight of what it's like to be cruising up under Dunlop. And just in front of him is Paul Morris. Actually, just behind him is Paul Morris, because remember, it's the old, got to do the fast boys from the rear of the field. It's the reverse grid shootout.
Going to be very, very interesting to see which of these guys can get the edge at the start. A bit of a psychological battle trying to make their way through the traffic. I don't think there's a lot going to count in the long run for it, but definitely they want to show who's boss straight away.
So as they line up for a start, we'll take a short break. We'll be back with the action right after this. Don't go away. Welcome back to 3 Sport, lining up for a start now. They've got the 5-second board. It's the slow cars in front, the flyers at the rear of the field. You're on board Michael Bate there in the Corona. Now it's his teammate Julian Bailey, who's going to get off to the best start.
Oh, and Michael Bate, what a disaster. Look at that, he's still stuck on the start grid, dead last now, trying to pick up the gear. Now he's on his way. That's probably a problem with the sequential box.
And look who got off to a superb start. And that was Craig Baird. Look at this. That's looking back at Ian Spurl in the Peugeot. But I think you'll find that the New Zealand Touring Car Champion, Craig Baird, got off to an absolute flyer, as this man got off to an absolute shocker.
He sure did, poor Michael. But look at this. Bailey, his teammate, is really into it and going past the leader. Well, was the leader, Craig Baird. Now it's Julian Bailey takes the lead in the Castrol Toyota.
Well, they've sprouted wings during the week, and now they are flying in the weekend as the Diet Coke BMW tries to whip down under the inside, and it does great stuff there. That's Paul Morris on the charge.
Look at Baird trying to come back at him, but no way, because I think that the disadvantage of not having the sequential box, which Baird doesn't have in his BMW, definitely plays a part here. But look at this, with this wing on the back, just on the boot lid, and a little splitter down the front of this Toyota, it is super quick.
Unbelievable stuff when you think that these are the fast guys from the rear of the field, the shootout over 16 laps. We're into the first lap. That's just gone, and they're already out in front.
Oh, look at this. Here's Michael Bate. This is the tail end Charlie's view. Wow, that seems to be revving rather high there, Michael, as he heads down the at the end of lap 1. Wow.
So it's Julian Bailey out in front in the Toyota Corona. And then it's the next of the BMWs. Go back on board. Oh,
nasty, nasty noises there from the motor. Oh, what a disaster this boy's had. Yep.
Well, that is not the sort of sight or sound you want to hear from a motor racing driver's point of view. And that motor has cooked it.
Looks pretty terminal. Yep, he shuts it down. Didn't like what he saw. I'd say the noise that was making, that's gone for complete history.
So back out in front now, it's still his teammate, Julian Bailey, the Brit from the British Touring Cars. He's rolled these Toyota Coronas, they're called over in the UK a few times. They've had a couple of real ding-dong smacks. But it's smooth and fast, neat and clean so far today, as Paul Morris starts to put the pressure on.
Well, both of these guys, a lot at stake, because there you can see. Now, Bailey's going to pick up that view. He already feels concerned for Bruce Miles, the Kiwi team owner, because he says, well, the guy's lost a lot of money in one weekend. James Kay seriously damaged the other car at Wellington last week. That still isn't repaired. Now there's another one sitting trackside. All the pressure's on this man, and he's taking it real well at the moment.
And also the wings on the back of the BMW too, adding a bit more aerodynamics to the battle out in front too.
Well, of course, these guys played a little bit of a game yesterday with the Toyota team, because after the Toyota had sprouted the wings, suddenly, well, it looks a bit bumpy over the top of the hill there at Pukekohe as we get this view out of the back of Paul Morris's car. Look at the gap they've opened up there on the third place, guys.
Huge.
Yep. These guys have definitely got the measure of everybody else, including Morris's teammate, Jeff Brabham and Craig Baird, who were fighting before.
And that little wee scrap in practice yesterday as well.
Yeah, that's right. Well, these guys, they decided that they were going to sprout a big wing on the back of the BMW. Suddenly popped that wing up about 5 or 6 centimetres off the bootlet. And when there's a bit of, hey, you know, you guys can't run this sort of stuff, was like, well, you take yours off and we'll take ours off. But they finally got the act together and allowed the Toyota to have its, and they've gone back to the way it was all year. So, yeah, it's pretty fair. I think you can see it. It makes for a great dice.
And talking about great dices, further back down the field for third spot. And just check out Craig Baird and the Castrol BMW. And once again, just like down in Wellington, he had the man in the rear vision mirror was Jeff Brabham in the second of the Diet Coke BMW. So the young buck, the Kiwi boy, Craig Baird, holding off the more experienced Aussie and Jeff Brabham.
Yep, well, Jeff definitely has a lot of experience, but not in this kind of racing. So I think what we're seeing here is Brabham's playing himself in. Oh, we've got the go slow, so the looks like the yellow flag's gone out, has it, for the end of this segment? Maybe not. Just Brabham seemed to have dropped back quite a bit there from the battle. Yep, definitely down to the yellow flag period. So once again, like the Kiwi touring car race earlier, there we go with the order. Bailey up front, Paul Morris, his arch rival, in second spot, then the Kiwi Baird, Jeff Brabham, and Ian Spurl in the little IPC Peugeot is in the 5th spot.
Just coming into vision now, and looks like it's unlucky last for Mr. Barnes here in car number 88, and that's Chris Barnes in the Motorsport Developments Toyota Corona, and he gets the park up in pit lane as the field, and there they're just trying to get rid of Bates' Toyota Corona off the racing lines to obviously get it out of the way.
Pity for both these guys, pity for Michael Bate, pity for Chris Barnes, top rally driver. That guy has tried to drive this car quite a few times, went to Bathurst to drive it, and the car was a non-runner. It didn't even get to run in Wellington, but finally the Aussie team that runs it got on top of it. Now they're out.
Well, that's the brakes, I suppose, and there's the Peugeot of Ian Spool that was going very well down in Wellington until they suffered major problems. And now you're getting a great shot with Craig Baird ducking and diving, getting in behind Paul Morris, and look at this little bit of cat and mouse stuff as they come up over the top of Mobil Mountain and lining up for the slingshot down into the S's for the restart. Amazing pictures. Look how close these cars get.
Bit of a squeeze play going on here, I think, between Jeff Brabham in the Coke car and alongside Craig Baird, trying to psych out the experienced Aussie. Let's see if Baird can put it to good use. as he tries to come down the outside of Morris. Gets a bit of a waggle there, almost copped the hit. And look at that, he's gone through into the lead again.
Once again, Craig Beard, an absolute flyer from the restart. He regains the lead. Morris whips up into second. And Julian Bailey, who was in front, has just lost it.
Well, that was a great start by Beard. Absolute flyer, but I can't help feeling these guys are going to be pretty serious about getting back in front of the Kiwi. He really ripped them apart that time.
And now it's Paul Morris trying to make a bit of a move down towards the hairpin as Brabham puts the pressure on Bailey, and Morris down the inside. Can he take Beard? He's done it in style.
Nice work there. I think that Craig almost accepted the inevitable there and sort of gave him room to dive down the inside. So Paul Morris rips through to the lead again. Let's see if Craig's going to be quite as friendly to the Toyota camp, because Julian Bailey right on his back bumper.
So it's Morris out in front now. That's the sign. The sight from the bumper of Paul Morris's BMW as the chasing field come through the Nissan sweeper, through the S's into Castrol, and the racing lines onto the back straight. Bailey in the Toyota trying to get past Craig Beard.
Now let's just see what effect this wing has. The Toyota has got some serious power out of the corners, and see already he's getting up in contention with Craig Beard. Pulls alongside. This was before the kink on the back straight, so quite a way before the braking area. Now it's down to the braking duel. Well, I think he's going to be held out this time. No, Julian's in position for the next corner. If he can just keep it on the track, Craig says, nudge him over a bit, mate. No room.
Good skills by the Kiwi. Holding out Julian Bailey in the Corona. Paul Morris, though, has got the jump on the field. He's opening up a nice lead. He'll be happy with that. 6 laps gone, and it's a 3-way dogfight for second.
Yep, you can see Brabham's in contention this time as well, so we really have got a good scrap in our hands. It's definitely not quantity in these races, but we've got fantastic quality up front.
And unfortunately for Ian Spurl, further back in the field in the Peugeot, as you can see, you can't even see him because he's so far back. He's got to be the man that may be the sufferer and will get the black flag. There is the top 5. Morris, Beard, Bailey, Brabham, and it's Chapman in the other BMW. Down the back straight. Great battle down there.
Yep, Beard gets the go-by this time, I think, although he's pretty good on the brakes down here. Can he do it? Can he hold out Bailey? Same position as before. Bailey lost out last time, and again.
Plenty of nudge and push there, but not too much, and Beard just, well, he's got a race on his hands here.
Well, he's definitely not being as kind to Mr. Bailey as he was to young Paul Morris, who he's got a little more in kinship with, if you like, a fellow BMW boy and all that.
And talking of fellow BMW boys, Jeff Brabham also in the Diet Coke BMW trying to get involved in that fight as well.
Yep, I think that Jeff's decided enough is enough. He's played himself in. He took it very cautiously in Wellington, just as he said he would. Needed to get a grip on just what these 2-litre cars do before he did anything adventurous, you know, and now I think he's getting to the point where let's get into it, mate.
But look at his teammate Paul Morris, a sensational drive so far. He's got that Beamer cooking, and he's got a really good lead now as they come down towards the hairpin. As you can see, great shots from the 3 Sport camera team out there around the track today, getting right inside the driver's seat. And that's the lead for Paul Morris.
So this time, definitely, you've got to think that Craig Beard, with his defensive driving lines right around the circuit, definitely holding up Bailey and Brabham and causing this bit of a traffic jam. Because look at the view from Paul Morris's BMW as he gets the yellow flag. Great lead, and way back to Craig Beard in the second spot. Now, Beard, of course, is in the box seat. If he can pull another start like he did last time, he's going to be in there, mate.
Light himself up for that final slingshot to the finish. So it's Morris, Beard, Bailey, Brabham, Chapman, and the interesting thing will be when the pace car comes out, who's going to be at the back of the field. I thought it may have been the IPC Peugeot of Ian Spurl, but I think he's running around about 6th spot at the moment. So I think it may be bad luck for one of the slower cars in the field. In fact, here it comes. It's our mate, the Suzuki, Grant Aitken.
Yep, well, I still think that Grant's had his value for money out of the 2 Nissan Mobil 500 weekends. He'll be well pleased with what he's achieved.
And this is the view from the race leader, Paul Morris, as they bunch up for the restart. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with the action right after this. Welcome back to 3 Sport with the Nissan Mobil 500. This is the 2-litre supercar touring car shootout, and that's the flashing light of the pace car because they're running in the reverse grid order. Remember, they started with the Flyers at the rear of the field, and now it's Paul Morris. He's closing in on the pace car. He's worked his way right up to the front, as you can hear. This is the sight looking back on the rest of the field, and it looks like Paul Morris is not going to hang around because the flashing lights are off.
The flashing lights are off. He almost overtook the pace car before it pulled in the pit lane. And I think he's probably taking the rules quite literally here, where they say the pace car shall set the pace, or the lead car shall set the pace, but they've given him the green flag. He had that huge gap on Baird.
Well, normally they have the big bunch up and they regroup for the restart, but he's just blown that theory right out the window because that's the gap back to second spot now.
Hey, this is a good trial, and that's for sure. I think that the race officials might be taking a bit of a closer look at this, but Paul Morris just absolutely jumping away from everybody. And already we saw the guy was capable of running away with it without getting a jump start like that. But look at it now. He's already ditched them completely.
And here comes this big battle down the rest of the field. It's Craig Baird in second, Julian Bailey out wide in the Toyota Corona. And once again, they're back into it, hammer and tongs.
Yeah, Julian trying something different this time, trying to pull alongside now, and has to just ease up as they take the left-hander. But I'd say he's really wanting to get on with the job. He wants... Hello, problem there for Dennis Chapman, the rookie from Christchurch, who bought one of the Aussie BMW 318s. Don't leave it there, Dennis, now whatever you do.
That's a different way of trying to get round the hairpin. I've never seen a car reverse around the hairpin before. Perhaps he thinks he's at Ruapuna going the other way. But look at this, Chapman. And, well, that's... was that the hairpin?
That was. There we go. There's the replay. Shows us just a gentle loose. Away she goes. He straightens it up. Ian Spurl dives around the inside. So that's the sort of thing you've got to avoid in this race. Now Dennis Chapman, he's last.
I bet you gave Ian Spurl the fright of his life too. What the hell are you doing out there, mate? Okay, Paul Morris back out in front, and that's the slightly better way to get round the hairpin is Julian Bailey now, trying to put the pressure on Craig Baird.
Yep, that's the same line he worked last time as we see the order there. Ian Spurl jumping up into 5th place behind Jeff Brabham, Bailey, Baird, Morris up to the top. And Morris well out ahead of this fight. Craig Baird doing a great job, you've got to say. He really is extracting the max out of this Kiwi car, which is 2 years old now.
And remember, he's racing up against a guy who races in the British Touring Car Championships, which of course has led and been one of the front runners this year has been Paul Radicic, our World Touring Car Champion. So Craig Baird is saying to these guys, hey, if Radicic can do it, I can do it too.
I'm sure there's more than a slight element of truth in that, Clint, because he and Paul have always had a very competitive thing going, and I'm sure he'd like to show other people, as Bailey this time trying really hard to get right by him here. Yes, he shuts him down.
He's done it. Good driving by Julian Bailey. He's taken second from Baird.
Yep, well, it was pretty inevitable, I think, with the extra power that Toyota has got down the back straight. No matter how defensively Craig Baird kept driving, sooner or later this car was going to jump by him, and there we go.
Question is, can Bailey now try and catch up on Paul Morris, or will he just stay nice and clean out there in second spot and wait for the regroup?
Yeah, I think he'll do that. Really, that's sensible. Just he's just trying to keep, you know, he's learning about this track all the time. He was telling me yesterday and saying that, you know, it isn't an easy track, especially when they put the wing on now. The car feels a lot better, but it still kicks out wildly in that Nissan sweeper for one place. Doesn't like the bumps.
3 Sport with the touring car shootout from Pukekohe. It's the second round of the Nissan Mobil 500. Clint Brown and Wayne Munro with all the action today from the power circuit. And this is the man who's powering away from the field, Paul Morris, a former street race winner, now out to be a winner here at Pukekohe.
Yeah, nice comeback for Paul if he can win today, because that disaster at Wellington Friday night crash at the chicane, the first big casualty really of the meeting, And to total a car, as he said, he didn't think the guys at BMW Motorsport were all that impressed. The car only had 150k on the clock. So, I mean, yellow flag, end of that race period. So he's well and truly won that one. No problem. Now we get the close-up.
A virgin BMW into, I wouldn't say it would be virgin concrete, because I think quite a few cars have kissed the concrete before down in Wellington. So it's Paul Morris. There he is. And let's see what happens this time when they bunch up for the restart. That's the top 5. Morris, Bailey, Beard, Brabham and Spurl. Remember last time, Morris, bit of a cheeky move there. He sort of let loose as soon as the pace car got off the field. And this is Dennis Chapman who had that spin, so I think he may be the man who gets the black flag.
Yep, well, Chapman said that he was coming into this race really just to, or these two Nissan Mobil 500 meetings, just to get a feel for it. Well, he certainly has done that, and I mean, it was a big, big ask to have a rookie come right into these cars and try to be competitive. So I think, you know, we've seen probably him perform where we expected him to.
Once again, the other cars are not really closing up. Well, there's Julian Bailey, there's Beard, there's Brabham, and Ian Spurl now on that IPC Peugeot. It's actually got wallpaper, vinyl on it, because the night before the Nissan Mobil 500, they didn't have enough time to do a paint job, so they whipped it into Bennett signs. Quick bit of vinyl and wallpaper, and how's your father? It's a nice purple-looking and yellow Peugeot. There's Chapman now. So, back on board Paul Morris.
Yep, and you can see once again the pace car pulls off, and look, he's got a great big jump on Julian Bailey in the second spot. Look at this, he's got about 5 or 6 car lengths even over the top of Mobil Mountain.
And Julian Bailey's doing his best to say, no, you can't do that, mate. I'm going to follow you all the way down and close up as much as I can, as quick as I can. As we take a look at the rest of the field, they've still got the yellow flag.
Yeah, not going to let him go this time. This is the lesson, the smacked hand for, well, it's not going to hurt, but it was worth a try. You've got to say that. I think Julian hasn't seen the waved yellow. He thinks they're still racing. Wow, look at this. Just about straight into the back of Morris's car.
Just watch out for our 3-sport camera there, Julian. They cost about the same as a gearbox, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I think he's settled down a bit now, but just looking to see any flaggies to see if they're waving the yellow still around this part of the circuit. But I think Bailey's just covering his options here and thinking, well, maybe it's going to be restarted, maybe it isn't. I'm going to stay in touch no matter what. Look at this. They're racing, mate.
And Craig Beard and Brabham also trying to close in on the regroup as well. I mean, they're still miles back.
Well, let's see what happens this time as they come down the front straight. Do they get, well, yeah, now they've got the green flag. So, okay, into it, guys. And Bailey this time is only, well, he's pretty close. He can challenge from here.
Can he pounce, though? Can he make the move? Is he going to be close enough? He's got another 4 laps, remember, as they come onto the back straight now. Paul Morris. Looks like he's got a bit too much power in that Beamer for the Toyota Corona.
Well, I don't know. I mean, definitely on the times they've been very, very even all day, and all during yesterday's practice as well. And Jeff Brabham wasn't that far off them either, you'd have to say. So it was quite a close little bunch. And there we go, Bailey starting to come very, very close. Look at this, right up on the back bumper of Morris's car in the hairpin. The Castrol Toyota trying to take it to the race leader, Paul Morris.
And this is no warm-up lap. This is a hot lap. This is a lap because they are racing. And it's Morris coming up over the top of Mobil Mountain. And he's still got that lead. And Julian Bailey really starting to enjoy driving around Pukekohe now in the Toyota Corona. Beard still back there in third, holding off the challenge of Brabham, and Morris just sweetly through the S's there.
Yep, Morris's car looks lovely down through there, whereas you can see that the Toyota sort of skips around a bit. See it skipping over the top of Mobil Mountain as well. It didn't look too nice, actually, but unabated pace, so it doesn't seem to be hurting the car's performance too much.
And once again, that advantage for the BMW down the back straight.
Yep, well, these BMWs they really have been the class act of this late part of the year in the BTC and the Asia Pacific champs.
But it's Bailey closing up under brakes in the Toyota. Getting a little bit closer, just running it wide towards the ripple strips.
And what's happening here with these wings, I mean, next year in the British Touring Car Champs, Asia Pacific, Japanese Championship, everywhere, they're allowed to run wings of the same dimension that are on the back of Julian Bailey's Toyota. They're actually, the BMW wings are a little bigger than the dimensions that are allowed next year. So this could be a very much an equalising factor, and I think the Toyota guys are pretty confident that their package is going to be a good one next year.
So 2 laps to go in the Super Tourers, the 2-litre shootout. Remember, they started from the reverse grid, even though they actually were straight out in front of the field right from the start of the first lap.
Yeah, it didn't take too long. I think we could have counted it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, and they were about there, weren't they? But great battles have ensued, and we're leading up, of course, to the final part of the shootout. And there's not much doubt that it's going to be between these two guys, as Julian Bailey just pokes the nose of the Toyota down the inside at the hairpin, has a little look, just to remind Paul that he's got to be on his mettle there. But nice clean driving, because of course there's a bit of a temptation to give a bit of a nudge and you take a guy out of this race real easy.
And just listen to the sound of that BMW coming up over the top of Mobil Mountain. Go for a quick little wee fly with Paul Morris. As you can see, that's the gap. Bailey all over him now. Into the last lap. Can Bailey get past? Can Beard hold on to third? He's got Brabham right behind him.
Well, it's becoming important at this part of the race as we get down towards the finale for you to be up front. But see, Paul Morris says, yeah, I know that, mate. I'm just making sure of it. No worries.
And here it comes. They're lining each other up as they come down towards the hairpin. This is the classic place to pass around Pukekohe. Now you can see he's got the slightly wider line. Bailey going right out wide. Defensive driving by Morris, holding the inside line. Can Bailey shoot through on the inside?
Well, he's really throwing the challenge down. I thought he was too far back, but a fantastic drive out of that corner.
Well, bit of action too at the back there. I think that Craig Beard may have lost his spot to
Jeff Brabham, it would have been, yeah. But look at this now. Can Bailey do anything as they run down to the checkered flag? No way. This is it. It's a win to Paul Morris from the Julian Bailey Toyota. So the two top contenders, nose to tail to the checkered flag.
And Brabham did get up there in front of Craig Beard. So he must have snuck through under the hairpin.
Well, could have been a bit of the old nudge, nudge, wink, wink stuff there, because that's interesting. Craig Beard had been holding the place very nicely till then. And
as the field comes back to, oh, look at that. There has been a little bit of a nudge there from, that's car 83. That's the Brabham BMW, and I think there may have been a bit of a coming together with himself and Craig Beard as Brabham literally poked his nose in front to grab third spot from the Kiwi.
On the last corner, so yes, it looks like that might have happened. I did say there was a temptation in this stuff to do that, because you know how you can just tip someone out of the way.
But he may have done it ever so politely through the hairpin. But no doubt that'll set up a great little wee showdown for the second race as we confirm the result of the first 16-lap shootout. Morris first, Bailey second, Brabham third, Beard fourth, and Ian Spurl rounded out the top 5. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with the driver's reaction right after this. Back to 3 Sport, and here's our winner of the first race, Paul Morris. And now he's in the pits with Murray Taylor.
Well, Paul, 4 races, you won the important ones.
Yeah, I suppose. It was pretty tough out there. Toyota's very quick out of the corners, so it catched me on the back straight, so the last couple of laps are pretty defensive.
You seem to get the hang of those rolling starts. I'm sure Julian's not going to be very happy.
Well, I had to talk to Jeff before it, and he's spent a whole lifetime doing those sort of starts, and he said, get a gap and go for it, so that's what I did, and it paid off.
They waved you away on the yellow for the final restart. You had to go around again.
Yeah, they actually started the race over on the back straight. The green come out, so it nearly caught me unawares, but I managed to get another break, so it was lucky.
Oh, you got a green on the back?
Yeah, green on the back straight, so I guess I wanted to bunch the field up a bit.
Well, that was a bit of a surprise, was it?
It was, and I think I saw it before Julian did, and got about a car length gap on him, which was just enough to keep him out for the last couple of laps.
Well, Jeff, you're a man that's familiar with rolling starts. They looked a bit different.
Yeah, I must admit, I wasn't quite expecting Paul to take off the first time, just after this pace car, because, I thought we had to come over and kind of form a grid as we came over the line. But, once everyone figured out what everyone was doing, then it was just a normal rolling start. We just started a couple of corners early, that was all, but it was no big deal.
Did you get a green flag on the back straight?
Well, I don't know what happened, because when we came past here, it was the yellow, and the safety car sign was still out in turn 1. And I must admit, I thought because we jumped it so early, you know, they were making us go around and doing it again. But and then we got down halfway down the back straight, and then all of a sudden we got a green. So I must admit, I was a little bit asleep, and it cost me, you know, quite a few car lengths. So, but you know, next time, you know, you just keep on the pace until you actually see the pace car. But it did confuse me a little bit. Yeah.
Another big tussle with Craig Beard.
Yeah, it was a little frustrating there, but you know, unfortunately we got together in the hairpin, and you know, it wasn't really intentional on my part. I just got in a little deep and locked the front wheels up underneath his bumper, and just touched him a little bit. It was enough for me to get by, but you know, it wasn't really an intentional thing. So you know, sorry about that, but that's just the way it goes. You know.
Well, a race of rapidly changing fortunes for you, Craig.
Yeah, it was. It was a really enjoyable race. It's one of the best races I've had for a long time, and I managed to get back in the lead after a restart, and Paul passed me, and then I'd had a good battle with Julian Bailey, but then Brabham sort of closed in, and towards the end, you know, it's quite disappointing, a driver of that calibre with, you know, a new car and new engines, good tyres, everything has to, you know, he can't get past me, and he just had a run at me at the hairpin from about 20 yards back and just took me out of the corner, which, you know, it's quite disappointing. You know, it's not as if it's a World Championship race or anything, and you know, fine, if he could have got up alongside me, there was, you know, and had the line for the corner, there was no problem, but when a guy just blatantly takes you out from the rear, you know, it is disappointing.
Have you had words with?
No, you know, it's what goes round comes round sometimes. It's, you know, you just can't do that sort of thing.
Well, I tell you what, if Baird's angry and disappointed, imagine how this young guy feels. This is Michael Bate. First of all, he stalls it on the line, and then the motor gets lunched.
I got a bit flustered at the line. My foot was jumping up and down, and these things are so, and the clutch, they're so hard to use because they got a real hard clutch in them, and it just stalled itself, and I restarted it and at the back as it looked.
Okay, well, it's a big challenge for you. You're only 20 years old. You've come in here for 2-litre racing. How's it been?
It's been neat when it's been going. The guys are neat and all that. It's been a lot of fun.
But for any motor racing driver, it's not quite so much fun when this is the sound you hear coming from under the bonnet.